In the northern hills of Vermont lay a serene village called Maplewood Hollow, a place where pine trees whispered stories to the wind. Maple syrup was more than just a delicacy. It was tradition, and people valued slow mornings and community over clocks and deadlines. The town had no mall, no highways, and barely enough cell phone signal to scroll anything longer than a weather report. The townspeople were mostly artisans, dairy farmers, and woodworkers. They valued hands-on labor, warm homes, and loyal companionship. Most families had some kind of domestic animal: barn cats, sheepdogs, or the occasional goat that acted like a house guest. Among the humble wooden houses that dotted the edge of the forest was a cottage with blue shutters and a winding stone path. It belonged to a 47-year-old man named Jonas Thorne. He was the town's carpenter, known for building everything from sturdy rocking chairs to entire cabins with his bare hands and a few well-worn tools passed down from his grandfather. But Jonas was known for something else, too: his extraordinary friendship with a golden retriever named Milo. Milo wasn't just any dog. He was a golden retriever, purebred, with a rich amber coat that shimmered in the sun like poured honey. He had kind, intelligent eyes and a gentle mouth that could carry eggs without cracking them. At nearly 6 years old, he had grown into his paws, but he still retained the puppy energy that made him irresistible to children and calming to the elderly. Milo's personality was the kind that softened hard days. He was playful but never disruptive, loyal to the point of fierce protectiveness, and uncannily intuitive. If Jonas came home burdened by a stressful day, Milo would know to nuzzle without barking. If Jonas laughed, Milo would wag his tail like he understood the joke. His favorite toy was a frayed green tennis ball that he had carried home from the town fair years ago. It had teeth marks, pine needles embedded in it, and a faint smell of old grass. But to Milo, it was treasure. His favorite game was fetch, but not in the ordinary way. He preferred a game Jonas invented called Forest Find, where Jonas would throw the ball deep into the woods, and Milo would sniff it out, sometimes vanishing for 10 minutes before triumphantly bounding back. Jonas was not a man with endless free time. His days were filled with blueprints, hammering, and contracts. But when it came to Milo, he made time, not found it. Each morning before work, even in frost or fog, Jonas and Milo would take a walk through Pine Needle Trail. It was their sacred hour. Jonas with his woolen beanie, sipping coffee from a thermos, and Milo trotting ahead, tail high, occasionally turning to check that his human was still close behind. At lunchtime, Jonas often returned home rather than eat at the diner like most of the other townsfolk. He would make a grilled cheese sandwich, split it, half for himself, half for Milo, cut into squares. Then they'd sit on the porch together, silently sharing the meal and watching squirrels perform acrobatics on the nearby branches. In the evenings, Jonas would light the fireplace, place a pillow beside his armchair, and Milo would curl up on it, head on Jonas' slippered foot as he read woodworking magazines or old detective novels. The flicker of firelight and the soft rhythm of Milo's breathing became Jonas' favorite music. The house Jonas built for himself had Milo in mind. The back door had a low-level latch Milo could nose open. There was a small window near the kitchen counter, just at dog-eye level, so Milo could watch birds or passing deer. The porch had a bowl permanently affixed for water, filled fresh every day. The shed where Jonas worked had a dog-sized corner with an old cushion and blanket, so Milo could nap nearby as Jonas sawed and sanded. To outsiders, it seemed like a bit much. But in Maplewood Hollow, people understood. They respected how Jonas loved that dog, not as a pet, but as family. Maplewood was a place where everyone knew everyone's dog. People would often say, "Oh, you're the one who owns the collie with the crooked ear," or "Your tabby was sunbathing on my porch again this morning." The domestic preferences in the Hollow leaned toward useful animals. Sheepdogs that herded, cats that kept barns mouse-free. But Milo? Milo was in a class of his own. He wasn't useful in the traditional sense. He didn't herd or hunt. But his value was no less vital. He healed. He listened. He belonged. Even the mayor once said, "If we ever made someone honorary citizen of the year, I'd nominate that dog." There came a time when Jonas took on a large job. building a new library wing for the school. It meant longer days, less time at home, and an aching guilt every time he saw Milo waiting at the window. Milo never barked. He never grew impatient, but his tail wag lost some of its enthusiasm. He would still sit by Jonas' work boots or bring the green ball, but less often. One Friday evening, Jonas came home, exhausted. As he opened the door, he saw Milo sitting in the hallway with the green ball at his feet. Jonas dropped to his knees, hugging him tightly. "I've been gone too much, haven't I, boy?" Milo licked his face as if to say, "Yes, but I forgive you." That weekend, Jonas made a change. He called in help from another carpenter in town and reorganized the schedule. He started taking half-days every Thursday and Friday. On those days, he and Milo would explore farther into the forest than ever before. They went swimming in Blueberry Pond. Jonas built a floating raft, and Milo would leap in the water from it, splashing like a seal. They went camping one night, just the two of them, stars above and the crackle of firewood below. Jonas even taught Milo to carry small tools in a leather pouch when they walked together to job sites nearby. The spark returned to Milo's eyes. His tail wagged like a metronome again, and Jonas felt whole. In the deep of winter, Maplewood Hollow was buried under snow. One afternoon, while Jonas was in his workshop, a sudden storm rolled in. Jonas hadn't realized how heavy the snow had gotten until he looked out and saw nothing but white. He opened the door to call Milo inside, only to find the dog gone. Panic gripped him. He pulled on boots and a coat and rushed into the snowstorm. "Milo! Milo!" he shouted into the swirling wind. He searched the forest trail, flashlight bobbing in the snow-drenched dark. Just when fear began to creep in like frostbite, he heard it, a faint bark muffled by snow. He followed it, down the embankment, behind the old sugar shack. There, stuck in a snowbank but still wagging his tail like an idiot, was Milo with the green ball in his mouth. Jonas collapsed to his knees, laughing and crying at the same time. "You absolute fool," he said, hugging him close. "Don't scare me like that." Milo just licked his face again like he always did. Years passed. Milo's golden coat turned silver around the ears. His bounding runs became gentle trots. His forest adventures were shorter, but his loyalty never faded. Jonas began spending more time sitting on the porch with Milo by his side. He would stroke the old dog's ears and talk about everything and nothing. "I built a lot of things in this life, Milo," he once said, looking at the sun rising over the hills. "But nothing better than the days I spent with you." Milo pressed his head against Jonas' knee. One crisp morning, as orange leaves fell like confetti, Milo passed away quietly in his sleep. He was curled up on his favorite pillow, the green ball tucked under one paw. Jonas buried him beneath the tallest maple tree in the yard, where squirrels still ran and the breeze still whispered. He carved a wooden marker with Milo's name, and beneath it, the words, "Friend, companion, soul of the hollow." Though Milo was gone, Jonas never truly walked alone. In every trail, every carved corner of his home, every sunrise over Pine Needle Trail, there was the presence of the dog who had given him loyalty, joy, and years of wordless wisdom.